to round 5 of the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motul. After the wide open spaces of Darwin's Hidden Valley, we arrive at Queensland's Morgan Park Raceway, one of the tighter and more technical circuits on the 2022 calendar. At just under 3 kilometres in length, Morgan Park is well known for its iconic Turn 3, but multiple elevation changes, blind corner entries and a short straight mean there is nowhere to rest, ensuring the racing in all classes this weekend will be action-packed. Turn 1, the AWMF corner starts off a lap here at Morgan Park, then it's the uphill Alpine Stars Turn 2, iconic Turn 3 under the bridge, and then down into Motul corner Turn 4. Hard on the brakes is an overtaking opportunity. Same at Honda Turn 6, and Yamaha Turn 7 starts the run down the very narrow, fast and bumpy back straight through Michelin, Dunlop, and then the bottom of the hill at Turn 10, the Suzuki corner. We run up through the final chicane and finish off the lap over the crest here at Morgan Park. Let's find out more about this very technical circuit with a man that has 4 Superbike victories here, Troy Herfoss. He's with Steve Martin.
Well, this track, Troy, Morgan Park Raceway, is completely different to the big open spaces that we had at Hidden Valley. It's tight, it's twisty, it's a little bumpy, a decent little run down into Turn 1 into the Alpine Stars section, but it's here at Turn 3, really. You said to me before the start of this session that this corner here, Turn 3, makes Morgan Park.
It does, Steve. This is one of my favourite corners on the calendar, really. And this corner sums up Morgan Park. It's rough on the way in. It's blind. The fences are close. You don't see where the exit is. The corner opens up. The bike's out of control as you exit. It completely sums up this track. Let's go for a walk around the track and see the rest of it.
Absolutely. Let's head round. It might be tight and a good place to go for a jog, but this Morgan Park circuit, it's got plenty of overtaking opportunities. I've seen people pass in Turn 1, the Alpine Stars corner, Motul corner, another place. What do you reckon?
From Turn 4, if you can't get it done, Steve, you've got this run through Turn 5 into Honda Turn down to Turn 6. They're both very similar corners, but you can either be setting up at Turn 4 or making the pass, or I like to wait for Honda corner. It's a bit safer down there, a bit slower.
There was a time when you had to worry about tyre conservation at this circuit, but the tyres are so good now that it's more about preserving your body over the distance of the race.
Pirelli have developed a tyre that we can do 16 laps full gas on. So now it's about the body trying to get around this bumpy circuit full gas. It makes a really tough day out.
Well, let's twist the throttle and get down to the fastest part of the circuit. Well, this is where things really start to ramp up. Through Motorcycling Australia, into Michelin and down through Dunlop. All these 3 sections linked together, 220 kilometres an hour, but the thing I can't believe is how close you get to this white line.
Yeah, this part of the track, it's 220 kilometres an hour. There's no curb, so you are dragging the front wheel through here at the highest speed on the track, into the roughest part of the track and trying to change direction. There's so much going on, and that's what makes Morgan Park so exhilarating.
It's really like threading the eye of the needle, isn't it?
It sure is.
Right, let's go. Can you overtake here, or is it all sorted in that last fast sector that we talked about?
Look, it's not the place where you always overtake, but you know what it's like in the last lap here. You've got a chicane where you can either pass on the way in, or you can lay off, gain some momentum, and try and get a bit of a pass over this rise on the way to the finish line.
It's blind on this rise too, so you really got to try and keep that front wheel down, because if that wheel lifts up, you can actually lose drive.
That's right. There's so much. It's not just a straight here, Steve, is it? You're on the rear brake trying to stop the Superbike from wheel standing. If you get a bad drive, the bike gets out of shape. There's many ways you can pass the way to the finish line. You don't just need a fast bike. You need to be technically very good on this track.
Well, there you have it. Morgan Park. Technical, tricky and fast.
Well, getting ready for a massive day of racing action here at Morgan Park Raceway. First race up on today's calendar is the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup, race number 2. Steve Martin, great to have you back in commentary. You've been out, you've walked the track with Troy Herfoss, you've ridden the track in the pillion rides. How is the track looking here this weekend?
Oh, it's looking fantastic. It's in good condition for sure. I just cannot wait to get the racing underway. It's a little bit bumpier than it was when we were here 3 years ago. So, you know, the teams and riders have had to adapt to that. But it's certainly not going to take away from the racing that we're going to see today. It's going to be cutthroat out there. We're going to see lap records fall. Everyone's keen, especially these smaller classes like the Oceania Cup. they literally haven't ridden for such a long time that they're keen to show what they can do.
Yeah, and yesterday's race was a fair indication. The top 4 covered by less than 0.45 of a second. That's 0.45, not 4.5. So Harrison Watts took the race victory. He is certainly on a rich run of form at the moment. Harrison Watts on board bike number 14. Hudson Thompson, the younger brother of Carter Thompson, the first ever champion in the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup, was second. And Bodie Page, the Queenslander, the local man, was in third place, and rounding out that podium, Levi Russo and Cameron Rende, the young man from South Australia that you've been keeping your eye on, rounded out the top 5. But certainly plenty of action yesterday in the smaller classes, as you mentioned. R3 Cup and Supersport 300 were both spectacular as well, as is this circuit. Levi Russo will start from pole position with Harrison Watts and Hudson Thompson joining him on the front row. Bodie Page, Marcus Amod and Cameron Rende on that second row of the grid, Steve.
Yeah, Ryan Larkin, Alexander Cody and Hunter Corney on row 3. Row 4, Terran Fleming, Ella McClawson, who's had a great result yesterday too, getting into the top 10. Sam Drain, brother of Tom Drain, here as well this weekend. And it's good to see number 48, Valentino, back after having an off earlier this year and injuring himself. Abby Cameron from Western Australia in the number 14 spot, and William Hunt in 15th.
Yeah, Elijah Andrew with the sideshow bob haircut towards the back of the grid there, but getting ready for the first race on today's program. Second race for the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup, ready in the starters' hands. Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup is go. Looked like there was someone missing from pole position there, as it looks like bike number 14, Harrison Watts, makes his way down to Alpine Stars area of the circuit. Through AMMF he goes, and then through the uphill Alpine Stars turn 2. Field starting to sort itself out now as they make the run up the hill towards that iconic turn 3. And even on a Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup Yamaha R15, it would be very scary through there on the first lap. Tyres still not quite up to operating temperature, and already is it Thompson on board bike number 41 diving down the inside at Motul Corner.
Yeah, absolutely. You can just see these guys and girls just settling themselves in at the moment, but it's not much in between it already. Just 0.1 between Thompson and Watts out front. You can see the different lines that they take as they head through into Honda Corner there as well.
Down through the Yamaha Corner as we make our way up towards Yamaha Corner. This is the area that starts the long, fast run down through this. Well, it's almost a back straight, but it's not quite a straight, is it? With Michelin Corner in the middle of it. The scariest corner, having spoken to a few of the riders on this circuit. Extremely fast. As they come down now, it is Watts and also Thompson that are the lead riders, with the Bodie Page sitting there in third place, it looks like, on board bike number 74. Then we go back to Cameron Rende in 4th, Marcus Hamod in 5th, Ryan Larkin on board 68 in 6th. Alexander Cody, Valentino Nezovic and Tieran Fleming, Sam Drain rounding out the top 10. Of course, Sam Drain just back from competing over there in the US, doing plenty of flat tracking with a fair bit of success too, Steve Martin.
Oh, absolutely. It is Hudson Thompson, though, of course, who just leads the way, but Harrison Watts slipstreams by, and Bodie Page is going to get by too. That's the thing with this class. You need a little bit of a slipstream, and you can go from 1st to 4th in the drop of a hat. Well,
and Page was actually up to probably close to 2nd place there. Just got it a little bit wrong. He was on the inside for the brakes and has dropped back to last place in this little lead group of 5 as we make our way through turn 3 for the second time. It is certainly bike number 14 and 41 that have been swapping places. Well, they've swapped numbers on their bikes. Now they're swapping places. It is back to Harrison Watts on 14 that's in the lead.
Yeah, of course, 6 laps around this tight and twisty circuit. It's all about bike placement, and at the moment, these guys are trying to figure out where they need to place themselves to stay in that front group. It's really important to stay in that front group at the moment, and you can see there's a little bit of a gap back to Alexander Cody in 6th position, the number 37 machine there. So this front group, if they need to work together, if they can keep working together like that and maintain that gap, it's going to make them a lot easier for them towards the end.
Well, as they started the run down here, it was your man Cameron Rende, the South Australian on board bike number 80, who was in 2nd place, but he's making a bid for the lead now, Steve, through that very fast right-hand corner at Dunlop. And as they come down to the bottom of the hill, and it's deceiving there. It doesn't look like it on the television, but that is a fair run downhill, and this is a massive run up the hill now to the final chicane, and then the crest that is just before the start-finish line. It is Cameron Rendo, the South Australian, on board bike number 80. Well, he's taken a leaf out of Arthur Cece's book with the plain white helmet too, hasn't he? As he comes across the crest now to complete lap 2 of this 6-lap journey, and making a bid for the lead now is Harrison Watts on board bike number 14. He's got the inside running down into AMMF Corner.
Yeah, that's a great move there. And then up the inside goes Marcus Hamod as well. Good move by him. Runs a little bit wide, but manages to hold it all together. Keeps that mid-corner speed up. Tucks himself in behind the screen on that long run through turn 3, heading down to the Motul corner, where we know that's a definite overtaking spot.
Well, and also too, he did very well to maintain that speed, as you said, because it is an uphill drive out of Alpine Stars turn 2. That Watts step back down the inside to take up the lead as they go through turn 4, Motul corner. Place where Troy Herfoss told us earlier on, you can either make a pass or you can set up a pass.
Cameron Rendo yesterday, although he got 5th on the timesheet, he actually won the race, but he jumped the start. So it's good to see he didn't make that same mistake today. And, you know, it's all about learning for these young guys. You know, like they've done very few race starts in their life that every time they go out there, every corner they go round, they're just learning something new. And
well, wasn't it his first road race was actually in December last year on board one of these machines?
Yeah, definitely. But he was devastated about it. But he's obviously forgotten about it now, put it behind him. His granddad, Mal Pittman, said, yep, don't flinch at what everyone else is doing. Watch the light. When the light goes out, that's when you go. And also Ken Wotton's advice was, if you do move a little bit, don't worry about stopping, just go, and you're going to get a 10-second penalty anyway, regardless of what you do. As we look at Marcus Hamod now in the lead, as they come round to complete lap 3, it is Hamod with Thompson right behind him. Watts pulls out of Thompson's slipstream. Rende uses the slipstream of both of them to go down the inside. Can he get enough drive out of the corner? He's on the very narrow line, but he rides the bumps well, and he leads them through AMMF Corner turn 1 and out through Alpine Stars Corner turn 3, and now through this blind crest that is turn 3. Marcus Hamod has definitely got the pace to run with these guys. Unfortunately for him yesterday, he finished at the wrong end of this group. He was 6th, so keep an eye on him. He'll be looking at making that right this time round, so keep a good eye on the number 13. 6th yesterday. He won't want that to happen again today.
He was another victor, or he was another person that placed very well, but got the jump start penalty as well. So that's what pushed him back. They were in that lead group all the way to the checkered flag. But it is Harrison Watts that still leads. This group of 5 swapping places pretty much, it seems to be every single corner. Hamod, who led only a minute ago. Steve Martin is now back to 5th place and last place in this breakaway lead group of 5. A fair gap back now to the next rider through, which would be Ryan Larkin on board bike number 68. He's got Alexander Cody for company, and Sam Drain just a couple of seconds behind those two.
And back in front goes Rendo at the moment. Just look how well he is tucked in behind that screen there. On the brakes, down a couple of gears as they head back up the hill through Suzuki Corner.
He looks to have grown a fair bit in height since we saw him make his road racing debut at the Bend in December last year.
Yeah, but all of these guys are going through that growth spurt period. You know, they're all reasonably young at the moment, you know, 12, 13, 14 years old. So, you know, they've all got a... You know, they're all growing at different rates. Some of them will outgrow these bikes and they have to move up class. Some of them already do the R3 Cup as well.
Bodie Page into the lead. The bright red shark helmet goes to the lead of the group. Of course, at least they've all got different coloured helmets on in this group. Only 2 of them with black helmets. All the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup riders this year wearing shark helmets. Of course, those Racondi leathers. Some of them even utilising the Alpine Stars Tech 5 airbag system as well, Steve, that you're now very clued up on this weekend after getting a lesson about it yesterday.
Yep, keep an eye on that later on in the show today. We caught up with Nathan Spiteri, who's been winning... he's been using that Tech 5 air suit system since 2018, so more on that later today.
So it is still Bodie Page on board bike number 74 that leads. He's managed to hold the lead since Alpine Stars, or actually AMMF Corner turn 1 at the beginning of this lap. Almost unheard of in Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup racing that someone can hold the lead for half a lap. But as we start the run down the back now through Michelin, through this very fast corner, you can see the suspension of the Yamaha R15s trying to cope with the very bumpy nature of this circuit.
Pretty much flat out through Dunlop they go now, heading into that right-hand uphill Suzuki Corner. down a couple of gears again. You've got to keep your mid-corner speed up here, because the mid-corner speed from this point here really determines what happens over the line. You just see Bodie Page there having a look over his shoulder to see if he's lost anyone in that group. But bad news for him and good news for everyone else, because they're all still there.
Yeah, Harrison Watts is right in his tail. He'll be utilising the slipstream as they come across the crest. Look at Thompson on board bike number 41 there, trying to use the slipstream. Does he go to the outside? Does he go to the inside as they come down to AWMF corner? Coming up the inside is Marcus Hamod on board bike number 13. No way through there for Marcus, and Bodie Page manages to hang on to the lead as they start the final lap. Just under 3 kilometres to go, Steve.
Interestingly there, Bodie Page led out of the final corner and led over the line. So if he can lead out of that final corner, it doesn't look like there's enough slipstream room, at least if he can keep that same pace up on this final lap. So the others will have seen that, so they'll be trying to make a move earlier in the lap.
Well, Cameron Rende had a look down the inside there, realised he couldn't get up the inside of Bodie Page on board the 74 machine as they came down into that corner. Is he going to wait for Honda, which is one of Troy Herfoss's favourite overtaking manoeuvres? No, he hasn't. If anything, Page has opened up a couple of bike length lead over the rest of the field as they start the run up this small hill now to the Yamaha Corner, the left-hander that starts the run home. As we go left now through that little bit of a dip in the other circuit and then down through the very bumpy Motorcycling Australia corner and Michelin corners that are very close together. You can see now trying to make a run is board Harrison Watts and also
Rende
Hudson
up the
Thompson.
inside. Rende goes through. Big move there. Holds it on into that corner. He's got a decent little gap there as Rende takes the wide line too to keep that mid-corner speed up. And it's Bodie Page just behind him. Boy, this is really going to come down to this last couple of corners now, Phil, as they head up the hill. What's Rende got?
Well, he comes to the line. He comes to the line with a couple of bike lengths lead over 74 Bodie Page. As they come to the line now, Page pulls out of the slipstream. Has he timed it to perfection? I think he may have just got it. He got it by half a Dunlop slick, which is used in the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup. I think he may have just got it, Steve. It will be a very, very small margin. We'll wait for confirmation from timing. But we think that Bodie Page may have just got it over Cameron Rende and Harrison Watts. Marcus Hamod may have finished in fourth, and Hudson Thompson, the last place rider in that lead group of 5 after a sensational 6-lap battle for the victory in race 2 for the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup. Rest of the riders coming across the line now to complete their race. There's bike number 46, William Hunt, finished back just inside the top 15 in 13th place, so good championship points. But yes, I think it is Bodie Page that will get awarded the win. We will wait for confirmation of it, but it looks like a margin of 0.011 of a second for Bodie Page on board bike number 74 as he celebrates on board his Yamaha R15.
Well, I think that's about a quarter of a Dunlop slick.
It's not much. They're small tyres, and that was a very small margin. Bodie Page does take the win over Cameron Rende, 0.011 of a second, the official margin. Harrison Watts, 0.062 of a second behind our race leader, rounds out the podium. Marcus Hamod, 0.134 of a second behind in 4th place, 0.7 for Hudson Thompson in 5th. Ryan Larkin was the victor over that little battle with Alexander Cody for 6th and 7th position. Tieran Fleming in 8th, Sam Drain in 9th, and Valentino Nezovic round out the top 10. Well, plenty of highlights in that race, Steve. Let's have a look at the Honda highlights. We could see that there was no one starting from pole position, it looked like, on the front row of the grid. But as they went through turn 1 for the first time, it was Harrison Watts and also Hudson Thompson that led the field as they went through turn 3.
Yeah, it didn't take long for that group of 5 to break away, did it? They had a good job there. 0.2, 0.3 soon turned into a second, and then it was on between these guys. Rende, Page, Watts, Hammond, Thompson were all going for it.
Yeah, I think they all had a chance at leading. Marcus Hamod went to the front about mid-race distance, but he was very quickly overtaken by bike number 14, Harrison Watts, who probably led the most amount of time in that race. But as we know, in Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup, there is always plenty of people that want to take up the running at the front, and Harrison Watts had his hands full. Look at Bodie Page, showed a lot of speed on the straight, and in the end, he utilised that to take the victory. Bike number 74 doing a great job with the red helmet out front at that stage.
Yeah, absolutely. It was so close out the front, but then Rende made this move up the inside, braked, and then went over the line.
You can see there, Rende was leading as they came across the crest, but it was Bodie Page that used the slipstream to absolute perfection. Plenty more action coming up today here at Morgan Park, coming back after this break. Well, great to hear from our top two in the Supersport 300 Championship, and Glenn Nelson was second in yesterday's race behind the man that sits on pole position, Teo Aksu. His first ever pole position in the 300 Supersport class, so congratulations to Teo. Glenn Nelson in second, Jonathan Narlos in third. Second row is Liam Waters, Cameron Swain, and our championship leader, Cameron Dunker.
Yeah, good to see him there in sixth position. Really looking forward to getting this one underway, Phil, as they come up, getting ready just to get that start underway.
To give you an indication, in qualifying they were 0.6 of a second apart. Yesterday's race was extremely close as well. Nothing between our top riders as they came across the line. Teo Aksu took the victory, but only just, as we watch our riders come up now and take up their positions on the grid. Teo Aksu on board bike number 91 in pole position. Nelson and also Jonathan Narlos on the front row of the grid. But ready to go racing for Dunlop Supersport 300, second race of the weekend. Supersport 300 is go. Looks like a couple of wheels going towards the sky there as they make their way down towards ASBK Corner for the first time. But it looks like Nelson on 39 that will take the lead through that corner and start the uphill run through Alpine Stars. Slotting into second, I think you'll find it was Teo Aksu with Jonathan Narlos of the front row starters in third place.
Now, Jonathan Narlos has had a couple of offs this weekend, I think, hasn't he, in practice, so he needs to make this one count.
Yeah, Liam Waters having a big run down the inside, nearly made it 3 crashes for him for the weekend.
Well, it's pretty early and pretty hectic in this Dunlop Supersport 300 race, especially in the early laps, but right out front now, it's Nelson doing exactly what he needs and wants to do.
Interestingly, Narlos has actually got 2 bikes here this weekend, the Ninja 300, the Ninja 400 that he rides in this class, and also the Yamaha R3 that he rides in R3 Cup. And unfortunately for the R3, it's been that bike that's been crashed twice this weekend, but the team's done a fantastic job to get both bikes back out on track as Teo Aksu tries to go around the outside of Glenn Nelson. A big move on lap number 1 here on the 10-lap journey for our pole man, Teo Aksu, who took victory yesterday, but he's been on a great run of form this year at Queensland Raceway. He was on the podium for the first time ever. Look at him now, pole position and a race victory already under his belt here at round 4 of the championship for the Supersport 300 riders, and of course proudly brought to you by Dunlop.
Absolutely, doing a fantastic job out there at the moment. Side by side they go into turn 1. Jonathan Narlos there on the left-hand side, and he goes up the inside. It doesn't get much closer than that. The knee of Glenn Nelson just nearly touching the back tyre there.
So it is JJ on board bike number 20 that leads as they come through under turn 3. Great shot there from the speed cam as they come underneath the bridge and down into Motul turn 4. Nelson hard on the brakes. Also making a big run up the inside there was Cameron Swain on board bike number 26.
Liam Waters is in that group too. Keep an eye on him. He doesn't mind sticking his nose up near the front of the race as well. So good to see Liam Waters in that leading group. Cam Swain there, just like you said, in that 4th position at the moment. Marianos Nicolos is there as well.
Well, good to see 2 former champions of the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup making their way through into Dunlop Supersport 300 as well. We speak, of course, of last year's champion, Cameron Swain, and the champion from the year before, Marianos Nicolas. And Marianos, of course, is a big Valentino Rossi fan. That's why he has bike number 46.
And not only that, it shows you how competitive and such a good class the Blue Crew Oceania Cup is, because those guys are coming in and they're featuring near the front of this race.
Top 9 riders covered by just on a second, with news coming through that the start is under investigation. We did say there was a couple of riders that seemed to get the front wheel far too high on the run off the line, but maybe a couple were just a fraction too fast as well, as Narlos leads them across the line. Nelson tries to think about a slipstream manoeuvre to get past Teo Aksu, who was glued to the back end of bike number 20 as they came through ASBK Corner to start this 3rd lap of the race. Looks like Marianos has made his way forward as well on board bike number 46. He's up into 5th place now, getting the better of Liam Waters on 181.
Just sits in there in 2nd position at the moment. It's just been cleared up, no jump start, so the race is for the race, no penalties in this one. Massive lead group there, look at that, they're all together. Then there's a decent gap back, 4 or 5 seconds to the rest of the field. But any one of these front 10 guys can win this one.
Yeah, big look over the shoulder there from a couple of riders in that league pack. And all you can be able to see is a lot of riders right behind, because there is no room to rest in this lead group of 9. Just having a look through the lap times, the fastest rider on track on that last lap was Brodie Gorwith on board bike number 25. He's back in 9th position at 1:24.292.
No, absolutely. It's just showing you that, isn't it? It's unbelievable to see.
There we have live championship points. Cameron Duncan would maintain his lead in the championship over Glenn Nelson and Taiyu Aksu, who's been on a charge, and he's moved up now into 3rd place in the championship. So Henry Snell, and of course James Jacobs not here this weekend. He's actually over in Japan racing in a one-mate championship representing Australia as well. So good luck to James Jacobs this weekend. More than likely, Steve, being run in conjunction with the highly important Suzuka 8-hour race, which is on today.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, we wish him the best of luck. But I'm sure he's probably watching this on the internet in his downtime and wishing that he was here, dicing it out with these guys. Up the inside goes Jonathan Naylor, taking the lead away from Taiyu Aksu.
So sitting back there in 4th position, it looks like the 46 machine of Marianus Nicholas has just made his way up one further place. He's made his way up one further place. He's gone up the inside of Glenn Nelson down there at Honda Corner, one of Troy Herfoss's nominated overtaking hotspots on this or just under 3 kilometre Morgan Park layout. So Nelson, second in the championship, coming into this round, has been bumped back to 4th position that he's not all that familiar with. And right behind him is last year's Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup champion.
Taiyu Aksu goes back to the front. Big move there at the fastest part of the circuit. Up the inside of Jonathan Naylor.
Liam Waters has also just gone past Glenn Nelson as well. So Nelson under siege back in this pack. And of course, he's gone back to the Jack Miller helmet because he was debuting a new helmet here this weekend, but he's back in that Jack Miller replica, trying to get some inspiration from the man that's qualified on the front row for MotoGP tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. You can just see there, hard on the brakes. And number 46 up the inside. What a move from Marianus Nicholas.
Well, I said he was on a charge. He's now into the race lead, is Marianus Nicholas. Right behind him is Jonathan Naylor, but Marianus, this has been a sensational last lap from him to take the lead. I can't wait to have a look at his lap time on that last lap, a 1:24.4, but what they don't show is how many positions he's actually gained on that lap.
Look how small he is on the bike too. He's still one of the smallest riders out there. Just dives up the inside. Look at the movement of the suspension on the rear bike. He's of the back wheel there. He literally took the rough line on the inside, made it work for him, and now he's just sitting in there and he's going to try and stretch this field out. And if you have a look at it, the pace has started to stretch it out. So Marianus Nicholas looks like he has something a little bit special going on at the moment.
Yeah, we're at half race distance too, with 5 laps down, or we're on the fifth lap of the Dunlop Supersport 300 races. Naylor goes back into the lead on board bike number 20. Yeah. So JJ back into the lead. Looks like Cameron Swain well positioned as well on board bike number 26. In fact, he's just moved up into 2nd position. Or is it Taiyu Aksu? Those bikes look very, very familiar. No, it's Taiyu Aksu on board bike number 91, the pole man.
If it's not Taiyu Aksu, it will be next lap. It doesn't matter. These guys are just mixing it up big time. Liam Waters there now puts himself into that 3rd position over the line and looks for a drive up into the Alpine Stars corner, but it's Naylor late on the brakes. Aksu, who's already had a win this weekend, taking 2nd at the moment.
Yeah, he had good drive out of the Yamaha chicane, and I think was ahead as they went across the line, Steve Martin. That's not so much important on the start of lap 6, but it's very important at the completion of lap 10. So that may have been a dress rehearsal to know what he can do as Liam Waters comes down the inside on board the 181 machine to try and move up a position and takes 3rd, robs 3rd off Marianus Nicholas, who was leading only 3 or 4 corners ago and has been relegated back now into the pack as Taiyu Aksu comes back up to take the lead over Naylor.
Yeah, Cameron Duncan needs to make his way forward as he can, but looks like it is Cameron Swain who has just done the fastest lap of the race, 23.9, so the speed and the heat is hotting up right now.
Certainly is, as they make their way down through Michelin, the fastest corner on this track. And this isn't actually the fastest area of the track, but as Troy Herfoss said, it seems like it's the fastest because it's bumpy and it's narrow and you're changing direction from side to side. as they come down through these final important corners now to get the drive up the hill, which sets your run to the line here at Morgan Park through the Yamaha chicane. It is Taiyu Aksu on 91 that leads. We are about to start lap 7 of the 10-lap race. Naylor's right in his slipstream. Liam Waters taking advantage of the slipstream as well. Here comes Cameron Swain on board bike number 26 as well, trying to find his way up the inside. Here comes Cameron Dunker as well. We know he's got the great racecraft and he's always fast at the end of the race. The championship leader on board bike number 3 is about to make his his presence felt, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. He's right where he needs to be now. If he can eke his way forward a bike and a lap and get himself towards that front, that will be his plan. But I tell you what, it's not going to be easy because the guys up front at the moment, they are fighting nail and tooth.
And it's not going to be easy for him as well, because right behind him, he's got the man that he went head-to-head with, battling in all 3 races at Queensland Raceway, round 2 of the championship, Glenn Nelson, who is at his home venue here at Morgan Park, doesn't want to give up any positions or championship points to any of these riders in front. So it's going to be very hectic over these last couple of races. Looking at it, Nelson has now gone back to 7th position, Steve. So a fair bit of work to do for the rider on board bike number 39.
Liam Waters is doing a really good job. He's been able to stay in that top 3 for the last couple of laps, and he almost looks smooth out there. As I say that, Cameron Swain nips up the inside and puts him back a spot. And Teo Aksu goes back a couple of spots into 4th position at the moment.
So it is Nalus that leads as they come through the chicane. Cameron Swain in 2nd position. Liam Waters in 3rd. Teo Aksu's back to 4th. Marianus Nicholas still there in 5th position, but only just because trying to find his way past is the big number 3 of the championship leader, Cameron Dunker. Can't get the job done. Teo Aksu back into the lead. How late was he on the brakes? A little bit of a concertina there because it was a block pass that wasn't actually a block pass.
It is hard to believe that Cameron Swain led over the line there. Now he's in 4th. He just got such a brilliant drive onto that start-finish straight, that Cameron Swain, but it didn't work out for him. All that hard work he's done, back there in 4th or 5th now. So more work to do and a couple of laps to do it in.
Well, this is one of the most exciting classes to watch in all of the Australian Superbike Championship field. And proving it again here this weekend as we see Teo Aksu lead the field. But have a look at this.
Cameron Swain leads onto the start-finish straight. Got a brilliant drive out of the final corner there on the AMX replay. Gets on the brakes, but up the inside, Liam Waters go. Teo Aksu wants it even more, dives up there, brakes late in there. And then once again, it looks like Jonathan Naylor also dipped up the inside as well. So perhaps he was good onto the straight, but a little bit weak into the final first corner there up on Star's corner.
4 positions in 1 corner. You can gain them, but you can also lose them as well as we make our way up the hill now to complete this 8th lap. The championship points live at the moment sees Cameron Dunker still holding on to a healthy championship lead over Glenn Nelson. Teo Aksu, Henry Snell and James Jacobs still pretty close in the championship. Of course, James Jacobs won't be scoring any points this weekend. He's over in Japan racing. And not here at Morgan Park as we see going back to the lead. It is JJ, Jonathan Nalos on board bike number 20.
These guys, when you actually look at the way that they're riding these bikes, they're tipping in. They are riding on the absolute limit. When they tip in, the front wheels are actually sliding. The bikes are just like coping with the bumps just. They really are, this whole front group, riding on the absolute limit of adhesion.
So down into Honda we come. Looks like Aksu was trying to get up the inside of Nalos. He's done it again. He loves that corner, Teo Aksu. He's used it several times in this race, and now he's telling Jonathan to just get behind him as they take the run down the back straight. We know that they don't take any notice of those sort of instructions, Steve, as they head now for Motorcycling Australia Corner. Looks like Liam Waters is doing a pretty good job there in 3rd position at the moment to hold off Cameron Swain. A little bit of a gap has developed between Swain and Dunker as well. According to the timing monitor, it's about 2/10, nearly 3/10 of a second, but that could be very important because Cameron Dunker might not be able to access a little bit of slipstream advantage as they come through Yamaha chicane and over the start-finish line to start this last lap.
Well, Dunker's very good at this part of the circuit, so if he can get a good drive out of this Ducati corner again, he could regroup onto the back of that group, and it looks like he's done it actually. Not much in between those guys now. The number 3 there as well, Cameron Dunker, with a little bit of work to do.
12 corners to go. Make that 11 because we're safely through turn 1 AMF corner. We're now through turn 3. It's iconic corner here at Morgan Park under the bridge. Blind entry and then down into turn 4. Swain comes up the inside, gets the better of Waters for 3rd position. So it is Nalus, Aksu and Cameron Swain as they make their way down towards Honda now through Pirelli.
Well, you know they're going to have a go, don't you? Just holds it nice and tight, as Jonathan Naylor said. We've got a faller. That looks like Hayden Nelson by the look of it, number 279, unfortunately for him.
His race is finished at 1 lap early. But it is Nalos that leads out of Yamaha Corner and down the back for the final time. Tucked into his slipstream is Teo Aksu, yesterday's race winner on board bike number 91. Cameron Swain and Cameron Dunker. He's appeared on the scene right at the right time, Steve Martin. Can he do anything through these last couple of corners? Into the...
Swain up the inside. What a big move there, but it's Teo Aksu who leads out the front at the moment.
Well, you said before that Swain was very good out of the chicane. Can he get to the run to the line? Teo Aksu is leading them as they come out of the chicane for the final time. Swain in his slipstream, but I think Teo Aksu is going to do it again. It's going to be 2 from 2 as they come across the line. Teo Aksu celebrates. Liam Waters got a great run as well. It's going to be very, very close for those second and third positions. But I don't think there's any doubt that it is Teo Aksu on board bike number 91 that has taken his second race win of the weekend in the Dunlop Supersport 300 Championship and gained very important championship points over championship leader Cameron Dunker, who finished back in 5th, and second place rider in the championship, Glenn Nelson, who finished in 7th.
What a brilliant race that was to watch. That was something special. And I'll tell you what, I spoke to the young man this morning, Teo Aksu. He was looking happy. I said, "How you going, mate?" And he goes, "Yeah, really good. I had a couple of wins yesterday, and things are looking great." And look at him on the bike there. He is so happy. There's not many people you can ask in the pits how they're going, and they say everything's going great, is there, when you look at it?
No, that's it, as Brendan Ferrari just signals to the rest of the other riders in this huge Dunlop Supersport 300 field that the race has now finished, and the victor is Teo Aksu. 0.044 the official margin over Liam Waters and Cameron Swain after a great ride, rounds out the podium in 3rd position. Jonathan Nalos led a lot of laps, but unfortunately he finished in 4th place. Cameron Dunker in 5th. Marianos Nicholas also led. He was in 6th place. Glenn Nelson on 39, 7th place. Brodie Gorwith in 8th. Sam Pizzetta in 9th. And Jay Russo on board the 32 machine rounds out the top 10. Well, let's have a look at the grid. It is Teo Aksu that will start from pole position with the local man, Glenn Nelson, and Jonathan Nalos on board bike number 20 on the first row of the grid. Liam Waters, Cameron Swain and Cameron Dunker on row 2.
Hayden Nelson, Brodie Gorwith and Marianos Nicholas, row 3. Row 4 is Jack Favell, Tristan Vercoe and Jai Russo. Sam Pizzetta, Henry Snell and Cameron Rende, 15th position, and Steve Doherty, Jamie Port and Cooper Roundtree round out row 6.
Yeah, a lot of South Australians on that row with Sam Pizzetta and Cameron Rende in there, both doing a great job.
Of course, Cameron Rende doubling up, doing this and the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup.
Very busy weekend for those riders, but also a lot of riders doing Supersport 300 and also the Yamaha Finance R3 Cup as we get ready to go racing. Final race for Dunlop Supersport 300 this weekend. Supersport 300 is go. Looked like a pretty good start there for Glenn Nelson, but Jonathan Nalos has gone skywards instead of forwards and will drop back into the pack. He's behind Marianos Nicholas, and he's got a lot of work to do if he's going to get back to his race-winning form or race-challenging form of earlier in the weekend. It is Glenn Nelson, the man that you said's always had great starts, Steve, that's in the lead as they make their way through this very scary and fast off-camber blind entry turn 3 for the first time.
Yeah, and it's Teo Aksu who makes his way to the front. He's on a high at the moment because he's had some brilliant results this weekend. Probably the best weekend he's had in his career so far. Riding on a high. Glenn Nelson, though, he wants to take it away if he can. And there's Waters there. Liam Waters just in 3rd position at the moment.
Just looking back through the pack to see where Cameron Dunker is. There he is in about 5th or 6th position on board bike number 3. Remember, he led the championship coming into this round over Glenn Nelson. Nelson sitting up there in 2nd position at the moment, but hasn't had the weekend that he would have wanted in front of his home fans as Liam Waters goes streaming through on the entry into that corner. You can see the bike bouncing around all over the bumps. Obviously, the 181 machine has been set up to handle those bumps extremely well because he had a lot of confidence in there to pitch the bike in underneath Glenn Nelson the way he did.
Look, these guys are brave, and that's how you get fast times out of these machines. You just got to pitch it in, hope the wheels stick. You almost ride them in a drift in the middle of the corner, a 2-wheel drift to keep that mid-corner speed up because they definitely don't have any acceleration. Up the inside goes Nezovic. What a move. He runs wide.
So it is Teo Aksu still leading, but Marianos Nicholas has made a big move there in front of Glenn Nelson. Who was that behind Nelson, looking like they were trying to go around the outside? I think it was Cameron Swain. Is he going to do it on the inside in the Motul Corner? He is. So they've obviously repaired the machine after that massive crash at turn 8 in the last, was it Yamaha Finance R3 Cup race, where the machine looked to be feeling very second-hand. Down into turn 4. Waters can't quite get down the inside. We'll have a look, and it's a bit strange to see Henry Snell back there in 13th position. A rider that we usually see a lot closer to the front, along with Sam Pizzetta on board bike number 51. They're back in 13th and 14th position, but I guess that goes to show, Steve, the competitive nature of the Dunlop Supersport 300 class.
Absolutely. I mean, those guys, like you say, are normally near the front, but all weekend they've been back around that. You know, they haven't been able to find something to get them into this front group, because once again, you can see two distinct groups here. The front group this time out is quite big, all the way back down to probably Cameron Dunker, probably the top 10, 12 guys, all in this leading group.
Well, start is under investigation. It has been confirmed by race control. So we'll wait to see if there's anything that comes from that. The only thing I think they might be doing is thinking that Jonathan Nalos went skywards instead of forwards, as Marianus Nicholas temporarily takes the lead and then is immediately bettered by Liam Waters on board the 181 machine. So we make our way through turn 3 again. I love that shot from the wall at turn 3 there from that static camera. Marianus goes back down the inside on the 46 machine.
Oh, did you see that? Front wheel touch, and he stayed up. That was Nalis, I think, who just touched the back wheel of Teo Aksu, but managed to stay on board. You don't get away with that very often, but that shows you how close these guys are racing and how important it is to them to keep that mid-corner rolling speed up, because that's how you get that half a bike length. Let's have another look as we head down in here. Watch the blue bike, number 20, heads into this corner, on the ground, bang! Sorry, it wasn't 20, it was Teo Aksu, I think, that hit the guy in front.
Hit the back of his teammate, Liam Waters.
Well, lucky they both didn't go down, but nevertheless, Teo Aksu is leaving, he's not leaving much in reserve.
No, he definitely wants another win this weekend. And as we've said previously this weekend, Steve, the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup, 2 of our former champions in this field. One of them is leading the race in Marianus Nicholas on board bike number 46 and Cameron Swain on board bike number 26. Not too far behind him as Teo Aksu on bike number 91 takes the lead from Liam Waters on the 181 machine. Then it's Marianus Nicholas. Then the next rider through after that would be Teo Aksu. Then we have Glenn Nelson and Hayden Nelson both in there as well. And Jonathan Nalos on the blue bike number 20, charging up the inside. Goes up the inside of Nelson. Can he maintain position? I think he did. He managed to hold on to that very small lead over Nelson as they made their way out of Motul Corner and now snaked their way through Pirelli and down to Honda.
If there were prizes for leading the most laps in the weekend, I reckon it'd be Aksu that would get that for sure, because he's been super, super competitive all weekend. Not only has he won, almost runs off the track there, has to move his body position on the bike, lifts his bum off the seat, manages to hold it together. Got a couple of bike lengths here. This is probably the biggest lead that we've ever seen anyone have. Nezovic up the inside though. And Nicholas back in second position, but Liam Waters just nips past him. Swain up there as well on the number 26 machine. And after that crash that we saw him have earlier on, I think that was into the Suzuki Corner, I'm not sure now, but you know, good to see him back out there and competitive.
Well, over the crest we come, and Teo Aksu has got a 0.3 second lead, nearly out to 0.4 of a second, in fact, over Liam Waters, Marianus Nicholas. Then I think it's Hayden Nelson, the next rider through, in 4th place.
Gee,
right behind him is Jonathan Nalos. Then it's Cameron Swain on the 26 machine. Behind Nalos, it is Nelson, Cam Dunker, Jack Favell and Brodie Gorwith rounding out the top 10. Live championship points sees Cameron Dunker at the moment, if they stay in these positions, on 228. Teo Aksu has surged his way into 2nd place, courtesy of his excellent results this weekend, to go equal on points with Glenn Nelson, but higher place in the championship.
Yeah.
So very, very tight at the top of the Supersport 300 category presented by Dunlop.
Yeah, Glenn Nelson, the number 279 machines, really does need to get a move on. Sorry, the 39 machine. He's back in 8th position at the moment. He's got the start, but he just hasn't had the race pace this weekend. There he is.
Well, there's the two guys that are actually leading the championship back in 7th and 8th. We've been speaking about the competitive nature and the closeness in the lap times, and there it is, clearly evident on track that just because you're leading the championship doesn't mean you're necessarily going to come out and wipe the floor with the rest of the competitors and take victory in the races. And if you want to know more about all the classes that race in this championship, of course, head over to asbk.com.au. And especially if you're interested in signing up for the pathway into this sort of action, the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup.
Sign me up. I think I'm too old, but nevertheless.
I think there's someone in your family that wants to be signed up for it, Steve Martin.
There is.
Round through turn 3 we go with Teo Aksu leading. If anything, I think Waters, Nicholas and Nalos have actually caught him up, and that lead has now evaporated in typical Dunlop Supersport 300 style as Nalos comes down the inside. I think JJ's on a charge. Steve, he's been riding the wheels of this bike all weekend, and he feels definitely more comfortable in this class than what he does in the R3 Cup class. That bike, unfortunately, has come into conjunction with the tarmac quite a few times this weekend.
Yeah, it certainly has, but on the Kawasaki, he's very, very comfortable with it. One of the few Kawasaki's out there on the grid, in fact, but obviously competitive out there at the moment. Stuck right in there in 2nd position, right behind Aksu, who's had his best weekend of his life, but bang, through goes Nailus, takes the lead. Well, Aksu took the inside line. Looks like he was going to stuff it up the inside, does he? No, he waits.
So Nalos leads on board the Ninja 400. The next Kawasaki rider would actually be Tristan Verco in 14th position on board bike number 18. 1 place ahead of Zach Johnson, a former front runner in this class that hasn't raced for a couple of years and making his return this weekend with not a lot of racing under his belt. So good to see Zach Johnson back out there. But look at this battle between Teo Aksu, Jonathan Nalos, Liam Waters. These three have been going hammer and tongs all weekend. Then you throw in the likes of Marianus Nicholas and Cameron Swain just to make the last race for Dunlop Supersport 300 so much more exciting.
And then you've got Glenn Nelson there as well, who's making his way further up. It's the two Nelsons, not related, fighting against each other at the moment. Hayden Nelson and Glenn.
They make their way through Dunlop. I was looking to see who that was was coming under assault there from one of the Nelsons. Not sure which one it was. I think it may have been Cameron Swain on board the 26 machine that Nelson was trying to find out. There goes Swain up the inside of Marianus Nicholas. So 2 former Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup champions going head-to-head through the Honda Corner.
You can see Cameron Dunker back there as well. He won't be so happy with his position at the moment. He needs to try and make his way forward. He's in 8th. So, you know, not good for the championship, especially with Teo Aksu doing so well.
There's nothing between their lap times. There's about 0.3 of a second between all of their lap times on the last lap. And I'm talking about the top 10 riders, all in the 124s, except for one rider, Hayden Nelson, who was just into the 25s. So they make their way through the Yamaha chicane to come around and complete 7 laps. So 2 more laps to go for the Dunlop Supersport 300 riders. Nalos pulls out of the slipstream, Waters pulls out of the double slipstream, and Cameron Swain comes down the inside as well, trying to find his way forward.
Yep, Waters makes his dive up the inside there. Nailus is a little bit tighter on the exit, but it's Teo Aksu still in there in 3rd. He's probably the only guy that's been up in that top 3 the whole length of this race. I mean, he really does battle hard to try and stay up there. Hard on the brakes. Up the inside goes Nicholas. Can't quite pull it off. Glenn Nelson there just behind him. Dunker at the back. Brody's in the back there too.
Well, this is the ASBK version of Moto 3, isn't it, with these riders so closely packed, changing positions every single corner, as we've seen. Big look over the shoulder there from Jonathan Nalos. Surely he knows what the result is going to be when he looks over his shoulder. There's going to be a whole lot of Dunlop Supersport 300 riders right behind him. And that's exactly what he sees as they make their way down through Michelin.
I'll tell you what, Jack Favel's having a good ride, as is Jai Russell as well. They're in this leading group at the back. They haven't really been able to make their way forward, but not much in it for them. Good to see them make the move forward from where they were in previous races.
Nelson looks like he's on a bit of a charge. He's moved up into 7th position now. He's got the better of Cameron Dunker, relegating our championship leader back to 8th. But as the conga line makes its way out of the Yamaha chicane and up over the start-finish line.
And there's your test. Teo Aksu's just gone over the line and he figured out then, oh, big move up the inside. great dive there. That was really brave by Swain. He did everything he could, left the brakes off, breathed off the lever, got himself in. You just have another look here. Up the inside he goes. Oh, that's, is that Verco?
I think that might be Zach Johnson.
Oh, okay.
Is it on the ProWorks machine?
Yep.
Bike number 22.
Yep. Well,
No, so he's been doing a bit of dirt track. He's kept it pinned on the dirt.
Not backing off, is he? But Cameron Swain has come from nowhere, hasn't he? We haven't really mentioned him too much. He was at the back of this pack, and now with a couple of laps to go, bang, he's put himself right in the box seat.
Well, hopefully he hasn't played his cards too early and let everybody know where his moves are coming from, because we all know that Teo Aksu this weekend has had more magic tricks than Felix the Cat. So they come down through the back end of the circuit. Here comes Aksu again, setting them up for a big run down at Suzuki Corner, is he, as Jonathan Narlos is in the lead. Charging in hard there from behind as well. Was that, I think that's Hayden Nelson on board the 279 machine.
Well, yeah, he's worked his way forward. He's left Glenn Nelson, who's further back in the pack now. Hayden Nelson right up there. If you're in that top 4 or 5, now any one of these guys can win.
So Hayden Nelson has set the fastest lap of the race on the previous lap. What are they going to do now with 1 3-kilometre lap to go of the Morgan Park Raceway? Final Dunlop Supersport 300 race for the weekend. And it is Jonathan Narlos that leads the field. Cameron Swain sitting in second on board the 26 machine. Then we've got Teo Aksu, Victor already multiple times this weekend. Swain nearly gets pushed off the circuit. He comes down the inside. The front end's bouncing around like a pogo stick, and he still manages to get into the lead with Teo Aksu right behind him.
That was an incredible outbraking manoeuvre by Swain there. Brilliant move. Teo Aksu in second, Nayleth in third at the moment.
Oh, Nayleth tried to go down the inside at Honda Corner, couldn't quite get it done. It was very close between himself and Teo Aksu. They're running out of corners now to try and make a bid for the lead. Our current race leader is Cameron Swain.
Yeah, it's desperation from this point on. You've got to make a fast move through Dunlop if you can. It's slipstream, get the pull through Michelin. Up the inside and into Dunlop he goes. He's brave, he holds on, takes the tight line. It's Teo Aksu now who takes the lead.
No one can go down the inside at Suzuki Corner. It's the run up the hill through the Yamaha chicane now to the checkered flag. It is Teo Aksu that leads. Can anyone utilise the slipstream on the exit of this chicane? Aksu's down behind the paintwork. He's behind the screen. He's trying to make the run to the finish line. Swain comes up the outside, makes the bid for the win, and I think he'll take it, Steve Martin. He gets to the inside and just manages to take the win. It's going to be very close, but I think Swain has got the win over Teo Aksu, and Jonathan Narlos should finish in third place on the podium, but it is so very close. Liam Waters not too far behind Narlos in that battle for third.
Yeah, what a great ride by Cameron Swain. He was back in the pack earlier on, 8th, thereabouts, and made his way forward.
And that would be his first race win in the Dunlop Supersport 300 category as well.
Well, take my hat off to him. He's a youngster, and I'll tell you what a brilliant ride by him. He'll be happy.
Congratulations to Cameron Swain and all of the Pro GP racing team. I know Jake Skate will be jumping up and down and doing handstands in pit lane after that result.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they deserve it. Everyone's put their faith in this young rider, and he's starting to show dividends.
As we mentioned, he did dominate the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup Championship in 2021, it's fair to say. And he's just taken his first race victory in Dunlop Supersport 300 by 0.030 of a second over Teo Aksu and Jonathan Narlos. Liam Waters in 4th, Hayden Nelson in 5th, Cameron Dunker in 6th, Marianos Nicholas, who led several laps of that race, in 7th place, Glenn Nelson in 8th, Brodie Gorwith in 9th, and Jack Favell rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, pretty impressive stuff. Jai Russo, Henry Snell, they've been there most of the time, haven't they? Jamie Port down in 19th. He's still coming back from injury earlier on in this year. Daly Mills, Mark Organ, and Steve Doherty as well, who